You know, deep in the forests of Slavic folklore, there's this figure, and she is just impossible to pin down. She's a cannibalistic monster, a wise guide, a fearsome witch, and a force of nature, all rolled into one. So today, let's try to uncover the paradox that lies right at the heart of Baba Yaga. So you've got this one image of her, right? A total nightmare, flying around in her mortar, snatching children. But then you see this other side, this powerful, almost serene, enigmatic figure of the deep woods. The thing is, these aren't different characters. They're two faces of the exact same being. And that contradiction, well, that's the key to understanding who she really is.
So what is she really? A monster we should all be afraid of, or a source of wisdom that people should seek out? Is she good? Is she evil? Or is she something way more complex and maybe even more ancient? That's the core mystery we're going to unpack.
All right, so to start unraveling this mystery, the first clue we have to look at is her name. Because believe it or not, the entire paradox is baked right into the two words that define her. Okay, so her name literally pulls in two completely different directions. You've got Baba, which can mean something respectful, like grandmother, but it can also be an insult, a way to call a woman old, 30, or foolish. And then there's Yaga. Oh man, the roots of that word connect to everything from horror and anger to fury and even disease. Her name basically translates to something like horror grandmother. The conflict is built right in from the start.
Okay, clue number 2, her home. And trust me, Baba Yaga doesn't just live in some cottage in the woods. Her house is this incredibly powerful symbol right at the edge of the world.
So get this, her house stands on these giant chicken legs. It roams through the forest, and it actually turns its back on you if you just walk up to it. To even get the door to appear, a hero has to know the secret password, the magical phrase, "Hut, hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me." This thing isn't just a house, it's a gatekeeper. And there's a reason for that. Her hut is what folklorists call a liminal dwelling. Basically, it's a threshold, a gateway between our world, the world of the living, and the other world, the realm of spirits, of magic, of the dead. So when you enter her hut, you're not just walking into a house, you're crossing a boundary. It's like a symbolic death before you can be reborn with some new wisdom or power. Even her tools are this wild mix of the totally mundane and the absolutely terrifying. She flies at a mortar and steers it with a pestle. These are just kitchen tools, right? Things you use for grinding spices. But for her, they're a magical vehicle. Her fence, it's made of human bones, a pretty grim record of anyone who failed her tests. And she uses a broom, but not to fly. No, she uses it to sweep away her tracks, so she can never be followed. A true force of the untamed wilderness. Okay, so we've got a name that's a total contradiction and a house that's a gateway to another world. That brings us to our final clue. What does she actually do in these stories? This is where her true, ambiguous nature really comes to life.
Yeah, it really depends on the story you're reading. In some, she is an absolute monster. I mean, a straight-up child-eating ogress. But then, in other tales, she's the one you have to seek out for help. She's the one who gives heroes magical items or that one crucial piece of advice. She doesn't operate on our human ideas of good and evil. She's more like a force of nature. She'll test you, and if you prove you're worthy, with courage and respect, she'll help you. If you fail, well, you might just end up as a decoration on that fence.
The story of Vasilisa the Beautiful? It's the perfect example of how this works. She gets sent on what's basically a suicide mission to get fire from Baba Yaga. To survive, she has to complete these impossible tasks. Now she gets a little help from a magical doll her mother gave her, and she proves she's worthy. And her reward? Baba Yaga hands her a glowing skull right off that horrifying bone fence. It's an object of death that literally provides light, guiding Vasilisa home, where it then burns her cruel stepfamily to a crisp. See? It's not good or evil. It's some kind of cosmic natural justice.
So why all this contradiction? What's the deal?
Well, a lot of scholars think the answer is that Baba Yaga is a leftover, a remnant of a pre-Christian pagan past. She was likely a powerful nature goddess who embodied the entire cycle of life: birth, death, rebirth. A figure who could be nurturing one minute and destructive the next, just like nature itself. And when Christianity came along, these powerful female deities often got demonized, their complex nature flattened into the simple, evil role of wicked witch.
And it's this incredibly deep, complex history that explains why she's still so powerful in our imaginations. She was never just a simple villain, and today, wow, her legacy is bigger than ever.
And you know what? She's not alone in this. This archetype, this powerful, kind of scary, wild woman, you see her pop up all over the world. From Frau Holle and Germanic folklore, who rewards the hardworking and punishes the lazy, all the way to the Greek goddess Hecate, who rules over magic and crossroads. Baba Yaga is part of a global family of powerful female figures who live on the fringes of civilization.
And today, she has absolutely exploded into pop culture. I mean, she's the nickname they give to John Wick, an assassin so feared he's basically mythical. She's a boss in video games, the hero of modern fantasy novels, but maybe most importantly, she's been embraced as a feminist icon, a symbol of raw, untamed female power that is totally self-reliant and lives by its own rules, far away from any kind of patriarchal society. There's a great quote from author Lindy Ryan that I think just nails it. She is a reminder that freedom lies a little beyond the border of social norms. And that idea, that real true power exists outside of what society expects from you, that's at the very core of why she's so appealing today. Which, brings us to a final thought here. What is it about her? Why are we so drawn to this ancient, chaotic, and totally unapologetic figure? Maybe our fascination with her reveals a deep desire in all of us to be a little more wild, a little more free, and to live just a little bit closer to the untamable truth of nature itself.